I'm going to try to take the team that you drafted and turn it into a winning fantasy football team. Obviously, this should help even if you have not done your draft yet, but all these questions were submitted over on flockfantasy.com. We're doing this live Q&A every single day until Christmas. So hope I can answer a question or two from you. But anyway, Phoenix Lance says, Sup Mason, how do you adjust your sleeper app PPR start 8 draft guide to account for 0.2 points per carry? So let me go ahead and pull this up just real quick to make sure that we know what sheet we are using, and I can reference the exact adjustments that you're going to be needing to make, because with those draft sheets, I have almost every league setting imaginable in there. However, we don't have all of them. Like if you play in a 0.2 point per carry format, you are going to have to make additional changes, which I apologize for. But if I were to start making like additional sheets like that, it would just legitimately be impossible. It already takes me all day once a week when we update those draft sheet / rankings every Friday. But anyway, this is a start 8 sleeper. I don't know exactly what the amount of teams in this league are, but it's either going to be a half PPR start 8 16 team. So it's either going to be page 16 or it is going to be page 22. Let's pull up page 16 just as an example. And here you'll see that I already have the running backs pushed up a decent bit because it is that 16 team half PPR format. However, here we need to be making even further adjustments. You need to be pushing up the running backs even higher. As obviously in a half PPR format, in comparison to a full PPR league, they catch up on the wide receiver some with scoring for the flex and at the same time with the elite level players at the very top. But here, if it's a 0.2 point per carry, they're going to be lapping the receivers. So I want to be going running back. Like for example, if you're in a half PPR 0.2 point per carry format, I would move Jahmyr Gibbs ahead of Jamar Chase. I would move Derrick Henry ahead of Jamar Chase. I would move McCaffrey. I would move Genty ahead of Jefferson and Lamb. I would move Achane ahead of St. Brown. I'd move Jacobs possibly ahead of like St. Brown, Puka, Nico, Neighbors. So move the running backs up dramatically. And at the same time, what we're going to need to do is we are going to need to take a quarterback that's going to run the ball like Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, because they are going to be able to get that rushing bonus as well. Okay. Johnny says draft sheet number 33. Okay. So what draft sheet are you using here? So let me make sure I can reference the exact one that you got. Draft sheet 33 is going to be the Yahoo 12 team half PPR start 7 format. You're saying with defensive back, defensive end, linebacker, Travis Hunter's at corner. Should we move him up? Yes. So let me go ahead and let's reference the Yahoo draft sheet that we have here for your league format. Here, if you can play Travis Hunter at corner and you can get his wide receiver points added on, obviously it's going to give you such a positional advantage that I'd be moving Travis Hunter up to being like a 3rd round pick. Like you would need to move him up massively. Now I see people saying anything on the Jacoby Myers news. I did not see anything. Is Jacoby Myers done? Let me see. Dig says if it's super flex, move quarterbacks up your sheet. Yeah, but we actually have super flex sheets available to y'all here. So yeah, just go. We have super flex sheet 49 and 50 are both super flex, but we got requested it. Let me pull up what's going on. So I did not realize that we had some breaking news like this. I know Terry McLaurin signed. Let me look at what's going with Jacoby Myers. And as I pull this up again, I want to remind you all that if you have not done so already, you can, oh dear God, this is crazy. Jack Bash is interesting too now. You can get access to all those draft sheets that we have customized for your exact league settings, get access to all our weekly rankings, rest of season rankings updated every single week, all the way until January 1st. Get access to the trade calculator, my team's page, the whole 9 yards, and get free start sit questions, trade questions when you get the season pass and you use promo code FLOCK on flockfantasy.com. It is by far and away the best deal that we've ever done. It is a $34 price tag, not a subscription. It is a one-time payment and only $34. And with all the tools that we have on the site, with all the creators that we have on the site, it will be the number one thing to help you win your fantasy football league this year. I always leave the link to it in the description, comment section, and live chat. But let me pull up my rankings with these Raiders wide receivers, because obviously we need to be making an adjustment at this point. So if we are looking at where I had the Raiders receivers ranked before this Jakobi Meyers fiasco, I had Jakobi Meyers at wide receiver 45. With him requesting a trade and him getting traded this close to the season, I know he probably lands in a better offense, but with the headache of it, I would move him behind, like, honestly, I'd rather have Keon Coleman ahead of him. I don't think Jakobi Meyers is like super talented player. Now, if we're looking at the other guys, Jack Besh all of a sudden does become a little interesting there. We have him at wide receiver 67, and we need to be moving Thornton up. And more importantly, we need to be moving Bowers, to be honest with you. So let's go ahead. Let's get Thornton into these rankings. And we will probably be putting Thornton as somebody that you want to pick up off the waiver wire for sure. And I would have him right next to like Jack Besh and Romeo Doubs. Thornton's going to be a much better real life receiver than he will be from a fantasy football perspective. He's not going to command a ton of target volume, but he should be able to stretch NFL defenses and do that effectively. So let me go ahead and let's look at the overall rankings on the site. I already had Bowers at 16. I think at this point, we probably move Bowers inside this top tier. The difficulty with it is going to be your league settings. Again, I know we just started showing these draft sheets, but if you play in a 12-team double flex league, the way you should value the elite tight end is going to be very different than a 10-team single flex format. And you'll see that reflected in our specific draft sheets. But if I had to try to make a generic rankings list, I'd be putting Brock Bowers inside this massive A tier. So let's go ahead and do that. I see Joe says, should we drop Higgins for Besh? No, definitely do not do that. So I actually already have my rankings updated. So if you need to see like who the best player available is with your waiver wire and you have any waiver wire questions, just make sure that you have your team linked with the sites. You can link it if it's Sleeper, ESPN, Yahoo. And I don't know when all the other creators are going to get their rankings up to date. Mine just updated right now. So you can go to the waiver wire, see here on the right-hand side. So you can see like in the Flock League, Jack Besh, I guess he's already rostered. I don't know who took the dude, but like I would definitely, like the best player in the Flock League waivers, probably Chris Rodriguez at this point. But I would not be dropping Jaden Higgins for Jack Besh at this point, to be honest. And I'm not going to be impacting Genty with our rankings. I don't think it matters much. Maybe the offense is slightly worse, but maybe he sees a few more targets out of the backfield. Now, let's move this over to our next question coming out from Young Dave. This is a trade where we are sending Hampton and Igbuka for Achan. Give me Achan. It's a 10-team format. We're sitting with Tet, Rice, Neighbors, Keon, Ricky Pearsall, Brian Thomas at receiver. So we have so many wide receivers. Give me the best player available, which is Devon Achan. Now, let's see. Justin says, 12-team PBR Superflex. KPR, UNK, DRFT. No idea what the hell you're talking about. Maybe Keeper League? Henry in the first, St. Brown in the first, or Keon in the 11th. Who to keep, 2 max or just 1? So the thing is, if most people in your league are keeping 2 keepers, the realistic situation is probably that a first-round pick is a little bit more like a third-rounder. Or maybe it's a little bit more like a second-rounder. You're probably not getting Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derrick Henry there. So I would assume if you keep both guys with the first-round price tag, they're going to take your first and second-rounders. Oh, actually, you're saying this is a super flex league. That's what this is. If it's a super flex league, then no. In that case, I think you keep Keon Coleman. And maybe if you love Derrick Henry or you love Amon-Ra St. Brown, you go with it. But if it's a super flex format, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derrick Henry are like closer to second rounders. So if you really like them, you can keep them, but they're probably going to go right around there anyway. Okay. I see a lot of people excited about Nick Chubb. Y'all know your boy already has Nick Chubb in the Flock League. You know your boy already has Nick Chubb ranked aggressively. The other rankings on the site better get updated from the other creators, moving Nick Chubb up and giving our guys some respect. Because, yeah, like we've been saying for quite some time now, it looks like Nick Chubb is the starting running back for the Houston Texans early in the year. Now, Tiny Danster, longtime member of the flock, says running backs are Henry, Genty, Pacheco, Brian Robinson, Benson, Justice Hill, Braylon and Spears available. Who to drop in a half PPR format? Drop Justice Hill for damn sure. Justice Hill's like a decent best ball player because like you don't know when he's going to blow up, but he'll have some usable weeks. If Derrick Henry goes down, Justice Hill's not the starting running back. Justice Hill's role is not really changed if Derrick Henry gets injured. They play almost two different positions. Braylon Allen, however, if you get a Breece Hall trade, he turns into a league winner. If you get a Breece Hall injury, he turns into a league winner. And I would say weekly, Braylon's more usable than Justice Hill. So drop Justice Hill, pick up Braylon Allen, and then I don't think you really do anything beyond that. Okay. Let's see. Danby says, I'm in a 10-team league, non-PPR, 2-receiver, 1 flex. Should I grab an elite tight end and an elite quarterback in the early rounds if possible, or should I not reach for both? So 10-team, non-PPR, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Let me show you exactly what the draft sheet you should be using is. I'm assuming that you already have access to the sheets. I'd be surprised if you sent in a $20 question and did not just get the season pass. But here is the sheet that you should be using. It's a 10-team non-PPR start 7. That's like sheet 5 if it's ESPN. That's going to be sheet 17 if you're on Sleeper, sheet 29 if you're on Yahoo, sheet 41 if you're NFL Fantasy, if you are drafting in person, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if we're looking at this, you will see the running backs are moved up dramatically on this list. You should be going with the running back in round 1. The only place I would deviate from a running back in round 1 would be if it's Chase, Jefferson, or Lamb. No other player should go in round 1 other than a running back. Now, if we're looking at like round 2, I would push up the elite quarterbacks more than tight end because it being a non-PPR format, it does hurt Bowers a bit. Hurts Bowers more than it hurts the running backs. Hurts Bowers way more than it hurts the quarterback. So I would go ahead, grab an elite quarterback round 2 or round 3, and make sure you grab yourself a running back in round 1. I would be definitely more excited to grab an elite quarterback than a tight end in a non-PPR format. Now, Slasher O says, did getting the season pass give us vouchers? It depends if you used promo code FLOCK. So whatever promo code that you use to sign up to the season pass will be vouchers for that person to answer your questions. So if you signed up with promo code FLOCK, you should have a free start sit question and a free trade question with your account. Okay. Now, let's move this over to our next one. M. Barden says, 10-team PPR Superflex keeper, Jaden Daniels in the 4th or Brian Thomas Jr. in the 6th. We are drafting in the 6th round. I would probably go with Jaden Daniels. Obviously, Superflex format. I will say in a 10-team Superflex league, the depth at quarterback is going to be easier to come by, but the starters still get the massive premium on them. I mean, the stars. So we're going to go with Jaden Daniels. Now, Free Garrett Wilson coming through with the start sit question. Here we need to start either Devonta Smith or Ricky Pearsall. We're going to go with Devonta Smith. Maybe, honestly, even if Jawan Jennings misses, I'm not going to be going with Ricky Pearsall. Smith, we have such a large track record of. Ricky Pearsall, we've had 2 solid weeks. M. Lapido says, 8-team Superflex. I got pick 1. Are we going to go Allen or Chase? 8-team Superflex quarterbacks are going to be very easy to come by. If you were looking at what you had with like a 12-team league, not everybody can have 3 starting quarterbacks. However, if you're in an 8-team league, there are enough QBs to go around where everybody can have 4 of them. So it is tougher when we are looking at those quarterbacks and where we should take them. But I frankly don't really know here. It's going to be so dependent on your specific league. I would say I probably go with Josh Allen, but I'm not super confident in saying so. Now, Raw Goopy coming out. This is a trade where we send Malik Neighbors, get back James Cook, and Terry McLaurin. So no Terry just signed, but this is a shallower format. So even if we have no Joe Mixon, even if Brian Robinson's dealt, I understand you need a running back. You need way more value if you're going to get rid of Malik Neighbors at this cost. Like, we can go ahead and throw this into the trade calculator, and I know the trade calculator is going to say you're getting robbed. There's no way it says anything else. If it says anything else, maybe it'll just say you lose, but if the trade calculator says that you win this deal, I'm going to have to take the trade calculator off the site because clearly something will be wrong. So if we look at Neighbors versus James Cook and Terry McLaurin, it says you very clearly lose the deal. Don't do this, especially in your format. Now, Chef coming through with the start set question. Here we need to figure out a flex between Ridley, who I believe plays, Denver week 1? Unless I'm mistaken. Pickens, who plays Philly, or Jamison Williams. Let me look up who the Lions play, because obviously that is going to be very relevant for this. So Lions play the Packers. They're point dogs. I mean, they're 1.5 point dogs, which is crazy. Over under that game's 49.5 points. You have a 24 point implied team total for the Lions. The Titans have an implied team total of 17 points against the Broncos. You do not go Calvin Ridley week 1. The Cowboys have a 20 point implied team total against the Eagles. Yeah, I think that JMO has probably the best matchup between these guys. We're going to go JMO. Now, Ford E. Jake coming through with the trade. This is Trevion, Higgins, Hunter, Warren. It's a Dynasty Superflex League. And we are upgrading to Malik Neighbors, Trey McBride, and downgrading from Trevion Higgins to the Jags running backs. I think Malik Neighbors and Trey McBride are the two best players in this deal. We're going to go with the two best players. Especially with this being a 10-team Dynasty format, and especially with us being at the very top of the league analyzer like this. So give me the best players in the deal. Let's go Neighbors and McBride. Now, Mindering coming through with the start set. Here we are looking between RJ Harvey and Tet McMillan for week 1. We're going to go Tet McMillan. I think it's almost going to be impossible to start Harvey. The only other players that I would consider would be Olave and Ricky Pearsall, especially if you were to have no Jawan Jennings week 1. Ricky Pearsall would be very interesting. Now, Pelici coming through with Lamar Jackson and Devontae Adams versus Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's a 10-team start 8 format. If we were giving up Lamar, we would have Drake May left over. Big thing that's going to matter here is what does the quarterback position look like on the waiver wire? Because if we're in a situation in which everybody's rostering 2 quarterbacks, it may not be that exciting. But here you can pick up McCarthy, Jordan Love, CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Michael Penix. They're quality QBs on waivers. So, and you can get Braylon Allen on the other side of this deal. Let me see what the trade calculator says. I think that Calic's probably going to say it's a fair deal and it's going to be up to you. Or maybe the Amon-Ra St. Brown side is going to be the slight winner. Can y'all please spam the chat? What would you rather have? Would you rather have Lamar Jackson to Devontae Adams or Amon-Ra St. Brown? The 10-team format. So the trade calculator says it's a fair trade. We saw the best player available on your waiver wire is going to be Braylon Allen. So you would be able to pick up Braylon Allen if you were to make this deal, which still does say fair deal. It doesn't move the needle too much. Okay, we hit 100 likes, so we're going to be giving away free start set questions and trade questions as well. We got Lamar, St. Brown, Lamar. So it looks like most people are on the Lamar Jackson side. For me, I would understand it in a 10-team league if you just wanted to get the best player. But here, trade calculator says it's a fair deal. Most people in the chat say you want to go Lamar Jackson, so might as well take Lamar. Now, Scott coming through with the trade. This is Trevion Henderson, Travis Hunter versus Braylon Allen and Ladd McConkey. Ladd's the best player in this deal, but Trevion Henderson isn't too far off in this format. This is a start 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league. So your leftover at running back would be Kamara, Genty, Mixon. Wide receiver, we would have Ladd, Jefferson, Higgins. I would say in most league settings, give me Trevion Henderson and Travis Hunter. In yours specifically, where it is just so damn shallow, like looking at how shallow your league is, you have like Quinshon Judkins on the waiver wire. You have Trey Benson on the waiver wire, Jaden Higgins on the waiver wire, Darnell Mooney on the waiver wire, Dallas Goedert on the waiver wire. So yeah, I think you go best player available. But everybody, we hit 100 likes. So every time we hit 100 likes in a live stream, what we are going to do is we're going to be giving away free start set questions and trade questions to the people in the stream. So this is one of those first times. We're going to do this a bunch this stream. Just spam in the live chat. What is your flockfantasy.com username if you signed up with code FLOCK? It can even be a free account, but as long as you have an account with code FLOCK, I can look you up on my little dashboard and I can give you free start set questions and trade questions. Okay, so let's see what we got here. And we'll look away. We'll click somebody randomly. Who did we click? We got Mike Ash 4. Okay. See if we can find him. And if we are close to 200 likes, hit that like button. We can just give somebody else some more ones right now. Mike Ash 4. Can I find you? For the love of God, we just got a lot of mics here. Mike. We got Mike Arrow 4. I don't know if this is you, but what are the odds? I'm assuming that this was just a typo on YouTube. So Mike Arrow 4, or Mike Ash 4, whoever it is, you're going to get a free start set question, trade question. A person already bought the season pass as well, so they should have a bunch of free vouchers on their account. Okay. Somebody told me you at 200 likes. I don't know if this is true, but we're going to give away another thing anyway. So put your name in the chat and we will try to find somebody else to give free stuff to. Okay. Let's pull this over and click somebody randomly. Who did we click? We got Mystery. Is this a real name? Or are you just putting your YouTube name? Mystery. Okay. There are multiple Mystery accounts. This one was made 4/29. This one was made 10/24. This one was made this year. So we're going to give it to this Mystery one. This is a free account, so you shouldn't have any vouchers yet, but now you got a couple, so you can send some free stuff in. But let's move this over to our next question. This one coming out from Parlay Degen. He's been out here a bunch with us. Really appreciate you. It says, Mason, I was in your $1,000 draft, number 11, weird thing. Though we had a 30-second clock, I was auto-drafted at 20 seconds. Luckily, nothing bad. Well, let me go ahead and pull up that draft from yesterday. In case y'all didn't see, we did a $1,000 draft on the live stream yesterday. It was an underdog draft specifically. Obviously, we do underdog drafts on the stream every single night, but last night was the first one that we had a $1,000 draft in. So let me pull up the draft board and check out your team, my guy. But let's see this. So this team, we have St. Brown, Genty out the gate, looking real good. Garrett Wilson, James Cook, Calvin, Ricky Pearsall. You sniped me on Mahomes. Then we went Kelsey, Mixon, Fields, Judkins. Mixon and Judkins. Okay, here's my issue with your team. I like a lot of the picks with it. And I actually like some of these guys individually at a massive discount. Like you get Quinshon Judkins at a massive discount at pick 131, right? I like the idea of taking Quinshon Judkins and just shooting for the highest ceiling possible in the final 3 weeks. But I don't know if you can take like Judkins, Joe Mixon, and Brandon Ayuk all on the same roster. Because if they're all on the same roster, it's going to be very difficult to advance. So I think maybe if we would have like had one or two of those guys, I would have really loved the team, but that would have been my one problem with it. But I really appreciate you drafting with us though, my guy. And appreciate you always being out in these streams. But Jay Pesh says, I have no running back two. Only guys I have are Chubb and Benson. So, I mean, hey, Chubb looks like he may be startable right now. But Devontae Adams, Trevion Henderson, give me Henderson. Trey Benson versus Brock Purdy. Doesn't really matter. Like, this is a league where, like, Justin Fields is out there on the waiver wire. So, I don't want to sit here and say Brock Purdy has that much value. But, yeah, if you need running back help tremendously, I think it's a fair deal to go get Henderson. Now, Hammer Bro says, if HN misses weeks 1 through 4, I won't survive. Should we make a trade? Okay. HN's not going to miss weeks 1 through 4. I think you're good. I think you start HN right now. I mean, we got the report yesterday saying that he's had no setbacks. MacD says, worth it to add a wide receiver too. I finished second last 2 years. So it's going to be a dynasty league. We're trading away a future first and Matthew Golden to get to AJ Brown. Chris Godwin to Luther Burden's a lateral move. The 4th round pick's kind of meaningless here. It's a 1 quarterback league. So because it's a 1 quarterback format, the rookie pick's going to be worth a little bit less since the player pool will be a little diluted. If it was a super flex league, I'd be less hesitant to do it, but I think that's a fair deal to get AJ Brown. Now, GT says 8-team half PPR single flex format, 7th pick. Need help with 1, 2, 3, 4 picks positions. Example, did we go running back, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback? 8-team half PPR single flex. Let me show you. I'm assuming if you sent a question on the site, let me say something really quick for anybody watching this. If you were going back and forth between like, hey, should I buy a super chat on flockfantasy.com or should I buy the season pass? To make sure we're all on the same page, the season pass is way more valuable and you're going to be able to use it all year long. Highly recommend the season pass before you buy anything else on the site. Like if you were new to the site, definitely get that. So I'm assuming that you have the season pass here. So I'm assuming that you have the draft sheets. And if that is the case, here's what we're going to do. 8-team half PPR start 7. You use the 10-team non-PPR start 7. And you don't even stop here. We push the quarterbacks and tight ends even higher than this. The elite onesies are everything. I would be fine in this kind of format for you to take Josh Allen ahead of Bucky Irving, Lamar Jackson ahead of Chase Brown, Brock Bowers ahead of Brian Thomas. I'd be fine with you taking Brock Bowers ahead of Chase Brown, Bucky Irving as well. Use this sheet, but push the elite quarterbacks and the elite tight ends even higher. Because if we are looking at what we have with, say, like a wide receiver as an example, these guys like Ricky Pearsall are going to be straight up free. Okay. Now, C. Fetty coming through with our next trade question. Here we are sending Derrick Henry. We're getting back Genty. It's a full PPR league. I view that as an upgrade. George Kittle getting back Achane. Definite upgrade. Josh Downs for Ferguson. Downgrade, but it doesn't matter. We're going to go with Ashton Genty and Devon Achane. Achane, we're getting the reports saying that we have no setbacks and he is good to go. And yes, we are giving another giveaway at 300 likes. Hunter says, can you break down how the draft sheets work when I find the one that I need? So draft sheets, first thing you do, find the one you need. Say like, oh, I play in a ESPN 10-team PPR, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league. You look at this. What I would do if I were you is I would copy and paste the sheet that you need to your own Google Sheet if you're drafting on a computer. That way you can edit it. And as you go through, like Bijan Robinson and Jamar Chase are drafted and you're at pick 3, you can delete them and you can see what player that you need. And if you were drafting in person, like I did for the Flock League, what I did is I went ahead and printed out the sheets and just crossed them off. But I mean, if you're going to have your computer with you, as long as you just have them on your own Google Sheet, you can delete them right after. Okay. And if Matthew, if you're having any issues, and this goes with anybody here, if you ever have any issues with flockfantasy.com, I cannot do customer support in these live streams. What you need to do is you need to please send a message in the site issues section of the Discord, where the developers would be happy to walk you through and help you out with whatever issue that you're having. Okay. Now, BW Peppers coming through with a trade. This is a deal where we're sending Amon-Ra St. Brown to get Jahmyr Gibbs, clear upgrade. We are downgrading from JSN to Flowers, downgrading from Hubbard to Downs, and downgrading for JCM to Dobbins. So to be honest with you, 9 times out of 10, I want the best player in the deal. 9 times out of the 10, I want Amon-Ra St. Brown here. But I think you're giving up like 3 very relevant players and getting back a slight upgrade from St. Brown to Gibbs. So I'm going to take the St. Brown side of this. Okay. S'more says, draft sheet is elite. My draft went great in a 12-team league. That is amazing, my friend. And if you have the season pass, definitely make sure that you link your team with the site after your draft so you can see like exactly what the power rankings look like for you. And it looks like we had 300 likes on the stream. So please spam your flockfantasy.com username in the chat. We'll go ahead and give away some more free questions. But next question we have to get through is from Luke Lewis. Here, quarterback, we're going to start Lamar week 1. Running back, we're going to be starting Achane and Walker. Sounds like Achane will be good to go. Tight end, we only have David Njoku as an option. And for the flex, Terry's going to be an easy start. Ridley, absolute garbage matchup. And if we're going to be looking at like Addison suspended, Ayuk injured. So really, Ridley's the only Or I guess you could go Dobbins, but Terry's a better option than Dobbins. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's pull this over. Let me look away, scroll up and down. Did we click someone? Yes, we did. There is no freaking way. Spog is the winner. Spog is always out here in these streams. Let's get Spog set up. And if we do not get Spog set up, he will sue us. So we got to be careful here. Got to be careful. Is this a real username or are you trolling? I don't see a Spog. Please let me know if you're trolling so we don't waste any more time doing this and I can move to the next one. Okay. Yeah, there is no Spog. He's trolling. Okay. So next one's going to be Numjet. Let's see if this is a legit person. Spog, you had your shot. And it slipped right through your fingers. And a reminder, you have to set up your account with code FLOCK, or when I search you on my users, I cannot find you. Love thy neighbors. Let's see if we can. And don't give me your fantasy football team name. Give me your username to the site, which love thy neighbors is your name on the site. We found you, and we are going to get you set up here, my friend. So you have a free start sit question and trade question in your account now. Okay. And let's move this over to our next question. Trent says, hey, Mason, I paid for a team review. When do you do those? Is it separate from trade reviews? Yes, we are doing the trade reviews and the start sit questions first, and then we're going to go to the team reviews right after. Because like the trade questions are a little more time sensitive than the team reviews. But these streams are about to start getting very long. So hopefully it doesn't take us too long to get to your team, my friend. But instructive gripper coming through. Quarterback, we're looking between Purdy and Lawrence. What are the matchups week 1? I'm assuming that we are going to be going with Purdy, but I can't guarantee it before I see the matchups and the implied team totals. So we have the Niners playing the Seahawks, 2.5-point favorites, 24-point implied team total. The Jags get the Panthers, and the Jags are 3-point favorites in that game. F it. Let's run with Lawrence week 1. Much better matchup. I would rather have Purdy rest of season. But Ayuk injured. Not only is Ayuk injured, but at the same time, Juwan Jennings injured. Ricky Pearsall, we don't know yet. But we will go. Now, Todd coming through says, have the 103 spot in my draft. How should I start my draft? 10-team full PPR. My thought is running back, receiver. Let's pull up your draft. It's a 10-team. I can't tell exactly. You didn't tell me if it's a double flex or a single flex. Did you say if it's a PPR? You didn't say if it's a PPR either. So again, I'd assume that you have access to the sheets. Make sure that you use one of them. But as like an example, if it's a 10-team PPR start 8, I would be a little more inclined to go with the receiver there at the 2-3 turn. But if it's a single flex format, I'm completely fine with you going like running back, Bowers, Lamar. Like if you're in a 10-team single flex league, if you wanted to go Saquon Barkley, Brock Bowers, Lamar Jackson, I think you're fine with it. And we do see that it's a full PPR here. Full PPR 10-team. I just don't know if it's single flex or double flex. But if it's a double flex, I don't think you can afford the elite quarterback and the elite tight end. If it's a double flex, I think you have to pick either if you want the QB or if you want the tight end, and then you have to go with an extra running back or so. But it's Archie sends in a trade question. For whatever reason, the players weren't loaded in. So I'm going to send you in a free trade question voucher so you can send that back to me. Now, Choppin' Brockery says, this is a keeper question. Superflex auction, $200 budget. We're going to go Bijan 66, Bowers 17, or Brian Thomas Jr. 15. We are for sure keeping the cheaper players. Like 9 times out of 10, I would say that you would just want to keep the best players with your keeper questions. But here with this $66 of a $200 budget, that's a 33% cost of your budget. Realistically, how much more expensive will a Bijan be than that if he just hits the open market in a super flex draft? He may go, I don't know, maybe it's the same price. But I can guarantee you that Bauer's going to go more than 8% of the budget. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to go for more than 8% of the budget. So I would go Bowers and Brian Thomas Jr. here. Okay. Now, Whip coming through with our next start sit question. Here, week 1, it looks like Chubb is the guy, but it's a full PPR format. Even if I have Nick Chubb, I am not going to be good starting him week 1. Pollard, I think, would be very, very interesting considering the fact that you may not have Tajay Spears week 1, so he'll look like a 3-down running back. My hesitation with it is you are going to have the toughest potential the toughest potential matchup going up against the Denver Broncos, where the Titans project to score the fewest amount of points in the entire league week 1. So I don't know if we can go Pollard. Now, going over to our next start sit question, the guys that we have on the bench right now are Devontae Adams, DJ Moore. We definitely need to get them in. I'd start Devontae Adams over J.K. Dobbins. Sounds like Stafford's good to go week 1. I think you go Kraft over Kincaid. And then I don't think we change anything else. I know Dobbins is technically the starting running back week 1, but I'm not starting him over Devontae Adams in a PPR league. Now, Vigel's coming through with the start set. Here we need to determine 2 flex spots. It's going to be a dynasty league. Chase Brown is going to be an auto start all season for us, assuming he's healthy. Really, the only conversation we need to have is James Cook or Cortland Sutton. Sutton, decent matchup against the Titans. Right now, the Broncos are heavily favored in the game. The Broncos project to be the 8th highest scoring offense in the league this week. And then if we go over and we look at the Arizona Cardinals, that game has an over-under of 41.5 points. The Cardinals aren't too far below the Broncos with the projections in terms of total points scored. Can y'all spam the chat? Who would you start week 1? Are you going to start James Conner against the Saints or Cortland Sutton against the Titans? See what the chat has to say. Please, for the love of God, start Chase Brown. The other call, it may be a little bit tougher. If it was a half PPR, non-PPR league, I think we go James Conner. Full PPR league, it's a little bit tougher for me. But we got the chat saying Connor, Sutton, Connor, Sutton, Sutton, Connor, Sutton, 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 Sutton. Connor, Sutton, Sutton. Sutton, Sutton. Oh my gosh. That is hilarious. Oh, let me take a screenshot of this to send to the creators on the site. Oh, this is funny. Oh, that is too good, my friend. That is too good. Let me send this in our group chat real quick. I'll say this better not be one of y'all. Okay. Sorry, that threw me off. I think we go Sutton full PPR format. If it wasn't a full PPR league, I think it is going to be a little tougher for us. Now, Birdie starts a question here. Wide receiver, George Pickens, tough matchup week 1. Ridley, horrible matchup week 1. Egbuka, I don't know if we can trust immediately. We go Pickens. And then for the flex, I would start Trevion Henderson over Egbuka week 1. Again, my general take with the rookies is I would rather start them after the breakout. You don't need to start them the exact week they break out. Now, Apple coming through with the start set. Here, running back, CMC, auto start for us week 1. Wide receiver, Mike Evans going to be an auto start with no Godwin, with no McMillan. And then down in the flex, it's going to be down between Devontae Adams and Achane. If Achane's good to go, we go Achane. If Achane is not, we are going to go with Adams. Okay. Now, Bassett coming through. This is Kamara in London versus Saquon Barkley. Somebody who drafted both London and Barkley in the Flock League. I would rather have the Barkley side of this. Your team's not linked, so I don't know the exact league settings. Right now, the details at the bottom of the page are telling us that this may be a 10-team double flex league. I can't guarantee that. But I probably want to go ahead and I probably just want to take Saquon Barkley. Okay. Now, Mitchie May says, just drafted from the 104 and had to take the following AJ Brown with the CD Lamb start. Looking to upgrade my running back room without sacrificing too much. This is the exact situation I found myself in the Flock League. I had a bunch of wide receiver fallers. I had to take the value. I wanted to upgrade my running back room. That's what led to us doing the Drake London trade. AJ Brown to Ashton Jeanty is a clear upgrade in my mind. Trevion Henderson to Tet McMillan is going to be a clear downgrade, but when we're looking at the difference between like a round 1 and a round 2 pick, it's larger than the difference between an early 4th and a late 4th. So I think that this is a very good price to get this done. Let me send you over a free trade question just in case they don't accept this and maybe we have a different counter. But is Spog trying to tell us something here? Spog says, Burger Boy, welcome to the member club. Don't be like me. I can't get my Flock username right. And now Mr. Flock's mad at me. Well, let me know what your correct username is, and I'll send you over some free questions, my friend. Now, L Dandy coming through at the start set. Down in the flex, we have Golden. I'd rather not start the rookie immediately. I'd rather just start Isaiah Pacheco and be boring, and then probably go with Golden week 2 if he performs well week 1. What's our quarterback situation? Love or Jared Goff? The Packers are favored in this game. The Lions probably throw the ball more. So I wouldn't fault you at all if you want to start Love over them. Now, Cosby coming through with our next question. Says, how's the lineup? Any drops or waiver wire ads? So I can't see your waiver wire outside of like the roster review, but what I can do is I can see if we change anything in the waiver. I mean, with the team. I think Jonnu Smith, Kyle Monunga is probably a drop here in most formats. If this truly is a 12-team league, I would drop Kyle Monunga. And if we're looking at changing anything in the starting lineup, I would start Xavier Worthy over Tet McMillan week 1 and see what the McMillan usage looks like. And I mean, Worthy is coming off the very hot end of last year. Now, Antonio coming through with a start set question. We only have 2 running backs to choose from between RJRV and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I would start RJRV over JCM, and I say that as somebody that has JCM on their own team. And then going down to the wide receiver slot between Olave, Diggs, and Igbuka, let me look at the matchup and the applied team total between Olave and Diggs. Diggs is maybe kind of similar to a rookie coming off the ACL with the new team. It's like you can just kind of wait to start him. So honestly, let's start Olave over Diggs week 1. And same thing with Olave over Igbuka, and see what the role looks like for Diggs coming off the torn ACL and see how the rookie looks as well. Okay. Now, Leroy Jenkins coming through with a start set question. Here we got Metcalf and Devonta Smith as the easy starters. Like JCM, we'll see what the role is in Washington. We're not starting him week 1. Igbuka, we'll see what the passing volume looks like in Tampa. We'll see what his role looks like. We're not starting him week 1. Pretty damn confident we can project out Devonta Smith and DK Metcalf to be almost every down players. Now, Khaled Cassie coming through. This is a trade where we're sending Brian Thomas and Aaron Jones for Amari Hampton and Tet McMillan. I would rather have the Brian Thomas side. I think that Brian Thomas is the best player in this deal by a decent bit. And at the same time, if we're looking at this, this is a 10-team, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex format. Is it linked? Can I guarantee it's that format? Yeah, and it's linked, so I can guarantee it's that format. So you want the best player. Okay. Now, Dayton coming through at the start set. Here down in the flex, we have like Tet McMillan, Igbuka, Xavier Worthy, Devonta Smith as the plays. I'm going to go with Devonta Smith over the rookies and Xavier Worthy. I think I'd rather have Worthy rest of season than Smith, but I like the Smith matchup week 1, and I think Worthy is going to be more exciting later in the year whenever you have the Rashee Rice suspension. But early in the season, week 1, the expectations are, of course, that you do not have that suspension hitting for Rice immediately. Now, Trady says, what position to prioritize by order during the draft? It's a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, flex, 12-team full PPR format. So here, in comparison to like a regular fantasy football league, if you need to start 3 wide receivers, I would go ahead and I would push up wide receiver, and I would move down quarterback and down tight end just slightly. If you have access to the draft sheets, make sure you're using the 12-team PPR start 8 sheet. Okay. Now let's move this over to our next one. This is coming out from Bonnets. Here, this is a trade where we're sending Bo Nix, Nico Collins for Lamar and Worthy. This is the Nico Collins side, in my opinion. Like, I'd much prefer Worthy over Bo Nix, but Nico Collins is just a completely different caliber of player than any of these guys. So please go ahead and get Nico. C. Buffett says $1,000 buy-in. Check the squad. Would you make this deal? So I would say the most likely outcome is yes. And this is a start 9 format, so yeah. We're sitting with David Njoku at tight end. We're going to go ahead. I'll trade Brian Thomas for Mike Evans and Trey McBride, especially with all the injuries to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receivers, where it looks like Evans just has to rise. Okay, so it looks like we had 400 likes on the stream, so please go to the live chat, spam your flockfantasy.com username. If you have code FLOCK on your account, I can find you on my dashboard and I can hook you up with some free questions. Now, next one's going to be Versace Gus. Here, this is a trade where we're sending RJ Harvey and Devonta Smith for Matthew Golden, Tyler Warren. I'd rather have Smith over Golden. I'd rather have Harvey over Warren. I understand that RJ Harvey's not the starting running back week 1. You didn't draft him for week 1. You drafted him for the second half of the season. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Harvey and Devonta Smith. Okay. So let's go ahead. And like I said, I can only pull up y'all's usernames if you have code FLOCK in your account. But let's go ahead. And we got Ryan W. 2124. Perfect. Free account. You shouldn't have any vouchers in it yet, but we'll get you set up right this second, my friend. There's a trade and there is a start set. So you should be able to send some stuff in. Okay. Now let's move this over to our next trade. This is from JDB Varridge. Running back, we have Trey Benson, Byshell Tootin, Jordan Mason. Oh, this is going to be a disgusting week 1. I would go with Jordan Mason. I mean, Woody Marks, you could say, is going to be the receiving back in Houston. We just can't guarantee it. And then down in the flex, I would go with Igbuka, even over Jennings if he plays, even with Igbuka being the rookie. Because with Jennings, I mean, he's missed pretty much all training camp with the calf and the contract situation. Okay. Now, Bay Leasy coming through, and Hunter says, Mason, what's the difference between a $7 a month membership and a $34 season pass? So there actually is no membership that's $7 a month. That is the annual membership. That is $96 a year. That comes out to $7 a month. So, but the difference between the annual Mother Flocker membership and the season pass is the annual Mother Flocker membership is going to get you a free team review, plus the free start sit question, plus the free trade question, and it will get you access to all the tools on the website and all the rankings for 365 days a year. The $34 season pass, on the other hand, is going to get you access to, it won't get you the team review, and your membership will end on January 1st. Let me know if that makes sense. But Bay Leasy coming out with a trade. This is Igbuka, TJ Hawkinson for Trey McBride. I want Trey McBride here. Like, I have Hawkinson in the Flock League. If I could take Hawkinson and like Stephon Diggs and go get Trey McBride, sign me up for it. Hell, honestly, I would take Hawkinson and DK Metcalf to go get Trey McBride. So you want McBride here for sure. Now, injury coming through with our next start set. Here at running back, we are looking at Harvey versus like Travis Etienne. This is tough. I think we go Etienne week 1. I would way rather have RJ Harvey rest of season, but Etienne is a good matchup week 1 against the Panthers. And then for the flex spot, I think we're going to take Travis Hunter. I would be more confident with Travis Hunter being close to an every snap player in comparison to what I would be with Harvey for the first week. Travis says it's a PPR 3 wide receiver double flex format. Terry to Sutton, slight downgrade. Hampton to Jonathan Taylor, upgrade. Given what we have with Najee potentially playing the beginning of the year, I'm not super concerned about it, but also Slater out for the season. I would view Taylor in a different tier than Hampton. I think Daniel Jones starting also helps Jonathan Taylor. So I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor over Hampton McLaurin, because even with McLaurin signing the extension, I don't see a big difference between him and Sutton. Now, Jay Rizzo coming through with the trade. Week 1, I'm going to be starting Drake May ahead of Dak Prescott. I hate the matchup against the Eagles. Down in the flex, we'll go with Tyrone Tracy over Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and RJ Harvey. We'll wait to see what the rookie roles look like. And then for the flex, we're going to take Jackson Smith and Jigba with the cheap targets, and that'll be an easy call. Now, let's refresh this. Sean says, I got excited about the season pass day 1. I didn't use code FLOCK until later. Did I miss out on the vouchers? Open up a message in side issues, and I'd be happy to get you set up. But Clutch McGee coming through with the trade. This is RJ Harvey and Rome Odunze versus Tyreek Hill. This is a 10-team format. What is the best pickup off the waiver wire? Best pickup off the waiver wire at what receiver would be like Rashad Bateman. Running back would be like Miles Sanders. You could go like Dallas Goedert. So it's a little thin. Running back, though, we have Pollard, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving. So honestly, I think you can do this if you want because you do have plenty of running back depth. You can go and get Tyreek if you want. Okay. L. Duchene coming through. Wide receiver, we have Adam Smith, Pickens to choose from. Hate the matchup for Pickens. Then we go to Devontae Adams week 1, operating under the assumption that Stafford's good to go. And then for the flex, I know 99% of the time I'm saying like, hey, we can take a chill pill. We don't need to start the rookie immediately. We can see the role and we can let them break out and then put them in our lineup afterwards. Hampton, Genty, these are 2 players that don't fit that whatsoever. Like you just go ahead and you just take the, you just put the bell cow in immediately week 1. Start Amari and Hampton. Now, Skitty coming out. We are downgrading from Lamar to Dak, upgrading from Warren to Kittle, and upgrading from Kamara to Henry. I think the upgrades at tight end and running back are worth getting away with the elite QB, especially knowing that this is a 12-team format with slightly deeper lineups as well, and we have Jordan Love. So let's go Dak Prescott, Derrick Henry, George Kittle, and we'll play the matchups between Dak and Love through the season. Ty Jake, Scott Diggs, long-time member of the flock. Here we're trading away Ladd and Harvey, and in return, we're getting Daniels and Metcalf. So I'd say a lot of instances, I just want to go ahead. I want to take the Ladd side here. I think Ladd's going to be the best player. This is a league where wide receiver depth's not going to be that important, however, and we do have CeeDee Lamb, Rome Odunze, Sutton, Olave, and Brandon Ayuk. We'll have Metcalf as well. I think value-wise, the Ladd end of the deal wins. But if you were to get like Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson instead of Jaden Daniels in a similar deal, I would take the elite QB. I just think you need a slightly better quarterback. Now, Austin Hemp coming through with the trade. We are downgrading from Chase Brown to Alvin Kamara to upgrade from Mike Evans to Ladd McConkey. I see a larger gap between Chase Brown and Alvin Kamara at this point than I do Mike Evans and Ladd, given all the Tampa Bay Buccaneer wide receiver injuries. Now, Dirty Skinny coming through with the trade where we are sending Barkley, Wilson, Harrison. We are downgrading from Barkley to Nico, upgrading from Harrison to Puka, upgrading from Wilson to James Cook. This is a super interesting deal. It's a 10-team league, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, so the depth's not going to matter much. Let me pull up this on the trade calculator. And as I pull this up, I will remind y'all to hit that like button. When we hit the next 100 like mark, we will give away more free start set questions and trade questions. And also, as I insert this in, let me throw the season pass on the screen and remind you that with the season pass, not only do you get all the tools on the site, not only do you get all the draft sheets, not only do you get all the updated rankings through the entire year, but if you use code FLOCK, I will also answer these start set trade questions on the stream for you. And we're going to be streaming every single day until Christmas. So you have plenty of time to get a question or 2 in. So this deal in the trade calculator has us slightly winning. If we're using the expert average rankings, if we use my rankings, it has us slightly winning as well, just a little bit closer to the Barkley side. I think it's a fine price point. I think you can go ahead and make it. You definitely de-risk from Saquon Barkley there. And then also with the season pass, I know it showed on the graphic, but just in case you didn't see, it is only $34 and it's a one-time payment. It's not even a subscription. It's both at the same time the most useful thing for your fantasy football league and the cheapest you could possibly get. Now, Matt Curran coming through with the start set. We for sure start Brees over RJ Harvey week 1, not even remotely close. And then down in the flex, I think we're actually going to start Tet McMillan. I would be a lot more confident with McMillan playing 75+% of the snaps than RJ Harvey having a meaningful role week 1. Ricky Pearsall will be in consideration if Jawan Jennings doesn't play. Chris Peacock coming through with a massive dono. Let me hook you up with a bunch of the free questions, my guy, just to make sure that you're good to go this year. And you're saying, just drafted, and thanks to your draft sheet, I'm feeling great about the team. Can we check out the team? Well, we are number 1 in the league analyzer, so it does look like we should be feeling good about it, my guy. Only thing is, my pop sniped JCM, and he's my sleeper. What's my best bet? I think this is a very fair price point, because the thing is, you are trading for JCM as if he's just a throw in here, right? So if you're looking at Bo Nix and Jamison Williams versus Jaden Daniels and JCM, Jaden Daniels versus Jamison Williams and Bo Nix, in my opinion, comparable, kind of fair value. So the fact that you get JCM on this deal, it really does look like JCM is just the little cherry on top. And JCM doesn't need to be like a great running back for this to work out for us. So we're going to go ahead and we will take the Jaden Daniels side. And if you love JCM as a sleeper, I think it works out for you quite well. There's no downside with your trade. Now, B1X says, thinking about getting a tight end, but my team is solid and I don't want to give away too much value. What are your thoughts? So Kelsey to Evan Ingram, slight downgrade. So I don't see how we're getting a tight end there. Travis Hunter to Rashee Rice, lateral move. We have him ranked at 52 and 53 overall. So in my opinion, this is a lateral move, and this is the perfect example of whatever you want. I mean, I'll throw this in the trade calculator for you, but I can guarantee you that it's going to say that it is a fair deal. The only way it wouldn't say if it's a fair deal is if I use the expert average rankings and Danny has like Travis Hunter ranked inside the top 37 players. So that may skew things. But if you use my rankings here with this, it says you actually slightly lose. If you use the expert rankings, it says you for sure lose. But again, that's because Danny has just Hunter so damn high. Here's my take. I think you're downgrading at tight end from Kelsey to Evan Ingram. I think wide receiver, it's a lateral move. So if you were trying to get a tight end, this is not how you should go about it, in my opinion. Like, I don't see how this would accomplish that. But I could be wrong. Okay, now, hopefully this live stream is okay, because I keep getting messages that the chat's disconnecting. Let me close a few of these windows. But let's move this over to our next question. It's coming from Hannah. And here, down on the bench for the start set, we have Downs and Harvey is really the only interesting options. We're not starting Chris Rodriguez. There's no way. I mean, I think Downs, once we see him back on the field and once we see him fully healthy, he very easily could push to be the better option over either Devonta Smith or Ricky Pearsall. The thing is, with him coming off the hamstring injury, you would be taking a risk to start him over one of these other guys week 1. So I would not do that, to be honest. I would just go ahead and leave this lineup as is. I think you have a really good team. Maybe quarterback, be interesting to see like what the waiver wire options are to stream, but I mean, Goff should be fine. Now, ZNL coming through with the start set. Here, wide receiver, we have Wilson, Ridley, Sutton, Mooney. We're going to go Wilson. Ridley has a garbage matchup week 1, and for that reason, we'll also go Sutton down there in the flex. I mean, Sutton and Ridley are playing each other week 1, and I'd way rather be on the Denver Broncos side of that. Okay. Now, Jay Hindo coming through says, PPR trade Henderson Bowers for Achane and Warren. So Bowers to Achane, lateral move / slight downgrade if we really think that Jacoby Myers is going to get dealt. Trevion Henderson to Warren, massive downgrade. So no, I would not do this. I think you want Bowers and Henderson. As long as this is Trevion Henderson that we're talking about, we want Trevion. Now, D-Rut coming out with our next question. 0.2 point per carry in PPR league. Gibbs or Lamb at third and why? We go Gibbs for damn sure. I take in a 0.2 point per carry format. If you sit there and look at the scoring of it and you look at how these guys scored last year, you'll come away with the conclusion that you need to go through and you need to be taking Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson ahead of CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Like, take Gibbs and run. And honestly, if Gibbs is gone and Bijan's gone, take Barkley. If Barkley and Gibbs are both gone, take Bijan. You take a running back at 3. You get one of the big 3. And then if you get the opportunity to take Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor in the second round in a 0.2 point per carry format, even if there's a full PPR, I mean, running backs will catch the ball. Well, receivers aren't going to have the carries. So you go with running back there. Now, CT Reed coming through with our next trade. Here we're downgrading from Gibbs to Chuba, James Conner, and Ladd McConkey. It's a slightly deeper league. Don't get me wrong. It's a 12-team format where you could start update players. And I see that we kind of need some running back depth. But the thing is, you make this move and all of a sudden you actually have to drop a bunch of players on your team, right? Who are we dropping? Hollywood Brown. And I guess Hopkins is the easy drop, kind of regardless if you make a trade or not, to be honest. You need to be dropping DeAndre Hopkins and go instead pick up Miles Sanders and see what his role is week 1. Go pick up Christian Rodriguez and see what his role is week 1. But no, I mean, you're not getting enough value here. In my opinion, you go with Jahmyr Gibbs. Deeper league, so I understand the thought process. I'm definitely drop DeAndre Hopkins and pick up a running back. Okay. Hunter says, Mason, how often do you update the draft sheets? The rankings on flockfantasy.com, I update every single day. The draft sheet specifically, adjusting to all the league formats, we do every Friday. So Isaiah says, are your draft guides updated given the recent news on signing and injury news? No, they will not. Again, those draft sheets, there are 50 of them that are customized to your exact league settings. So it is just way too hard for me to update that every single day. It's like an entire 12-hour thing I have to take on, but the rankings on the website are updated. But again, you're going to have to make the adjustments for your exact league settings from there. Z Hoover asking if these are the right picks for week 1. Tyler Warren, I'd be a little bit shaky starting week 1. Looking at running back, it's going to come down to, do you want to start DeAndre Swift or do you want to start Trevion Henderson? I am boring. Again, and maybe I'm taking this too far. Maybe you should say, Mason, live a little, have some excitement in your life. You can start Trevion Henderson over DeAndre Swift week 1. And don't get me wrong, I would rather have Trevion Henderson rest of season and not even remotely close. But if I go through and if I look at this, here, what is the implied team total? 22.5 points for the Pats. The Bears are at 21 points. Bears are slight dogs to the Vikings. Patriots are slight favorites to the Raiders. I don't know. Can y'all let me know in the chat? What do y'all think of the role for Ramadre week 1? Who would you start week 1? DeAndre Swift or Trevion Henderson? As my default with the rookies are, if you have a quality veteran where we've seen volume from them for years, you just start the quality veteran and you wait until the rookie breaks out and you see the role that you really like. Okay, but we got Swift, Henderson. Swift, Henderson, Swift, Henderson, Swift. Henderson, Henderson. Henderson, 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 Henderson. So, I mean, most people have Henderson here, and I'm not going to argue with them. I think Swift's probably the safer play. Obviously, we'd way rather have Trevion Henderson rest of season. Now, BT coming through says, Scarce need to upgrade running back, but we're loaded at wide receiver. So we're upgrading from Kenneth Walker to Bucky Irving. Is this truly a dynasty league? I don't know if this is a dynasty league or not, so ignore those rankings that are on these players. But we are downgrading for Brian Thomas, upgrading from Kenneth Walker, and we're paying Igbuka to do it. Regardless if this is a dynasty league or if this is a redraft league, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Brian Thomas. It's a super shallow format, so I understand that the depth at wide receiver is not going to matter as much, but Brian Thomas is still a much more premium asset than the other names. I'm not starting Dak Prescott week 1 here for Nick. Dak, horrible matchup. We're going to go with Bo Nix in a good spot. And then down here in the flex, it's a dynasty league, so we have a ton of options. Goddard gives you a relatively nice floor. Looking at a running back, it's either going to be RJ Harvey or Dallas Goedert. It doesn't look like it's a tight end premium league. So for that reason, I probably take RJ Harvey. But again, I would expect that J.K. Dobbins is the clear starting running back. Now, the positive that you get here is they are heavy favorites against the Tennessee Titans. So you could see a decent amount of RJ Harvey usage, even if they view him as the backup. But it looks like we just hit 500 likes on the stream. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to give away another start sit question, another trade question. So if you have an account on flockfantasy.com and use code FLOCK, it can be a free account, it can be a paid account, whatever. Just please spam the chat right now and let me know your flockfantasy.com username, and we will hook you up with a free trade question. We'll hook you up with a free start set question. Okay. So let's pull this over. Let's click somebody at random. We got, okay, is this really your name or are you trolling? It's a cool name, funny name, but I don't know if you're trolling us. So if not, if this is a troll name, we will pick a different name right after this. But we got Mace Him. Okay, this is a real name. Mace Him Dodd, in parentheses, DK. I read the comment section earlier. Someone said the Caucasian DK, which I thought was hilarious. But we just sent you over a free start set question or a free trade question, my friend. So you should be good to get something. And that was free.